Abortion is not family planning. I'm repeating, abortion is not family planning. If you are aborting babies as a married woman, if you are aborting babies as a married woman, you are a murderer. You are a killer. For some of you that have had sex before, you know that before the something happened, all your senses, your eye, you're no more seeing straight. Your lips, everything is shouting, hey, I'm ready. At that point, rababasheke does not work. Every day you visit the man, you just lie down in yakata. He will just sleep with you like that. When he finish sleeping with you, he will hold you tight, and that's all. You wear your trouser and you start going home. The next day you come, he sleep. Are you stupid? Are you an animal? Any day you meet the man, your body begins to vibrate, or he sees you. If they remove that sex from that relationship, please, what remains? If anyone does not provide for his relative, and especially his immediate family, he has denied the faith. He has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. Why is it that in our present day, we see that the wealthy ones in quotes, the rich in quotes, are the ones that give birth to 3, 2, 4. You that is struggling with one room, you have 6 children. What happened to your penis? You can't keep it. You are your opening leg, and you have to carry yam on the streets. And then you come to church every day, you're shouting amen. You have denied the faith. You are worse than an unbeliever. Yeah, hello viewers, good day. It's a great day. It's a beautiful day. Once again, compliment of the season. Jesus, like I said in all the videos, is the reason for this season. And we are grateful for the coming of Jesus Christ. We're grateful for his work in our lives. All right, today we're going to be discussing myth about marriage. Myth or misconceptions about marriage. You will agree with me that there are a lot of misconceptions. A hell lot of misconceptions about this institution called marriage. Remember that I said in my previous videos that marriage as an institution is perfect. Marriage as an institution is perfect because it was orchestrated or created by a perfect God. But the persons that are involved in it or entering into it are not perfect. And so the people that enter into marriage are the ones that make that marriage imperfect. But marriage standing on its own as an institution is perfect. There are 2 basic misconceptions about marriage that we will be discussing in this video. And in the next video, we will now be discussing what marriage is and also giving you our basic understanding of what marriage should be. The first is the misconception that the primary purpose of marriage is procreation. So one of the misconceptions we have today is procreation seen as the primary purpose of marriage. Secondly, sex is the primary purpose of marriage. And so we're going to be discussing these dual misconceptions on their own. We'll pick up the first one, which is procreation as the primary purpose of marriage. Is a misconception. And we have come to tell you that procreation is totally not the primary purpose of marriage. One misconception many have is that the primary purpose of marriage is propagation of the human race, increasing the human race. And in discussing this topic, we're going to be looking at Genesis chapter 1 verse 28. We're going to be delving into Genesis chapter 1 verse 28. Why are we going back to the Bible? Remember that the institution of marriage was not orchestrated by men, is not a thought of a man, is not the idea of a man, is the idea of God. It's God's idea. Marriage is God's idea. Marriage is God's idea. And so if we must understand what marriage is or should be, we must refer back to the creator of this institution, to the originator of this institution. What does Genesis 1:28 say? Paraphrasing, he made them male and female, and he commanded them that they should be fruitful and multiply. They should be fruitful. So be fruitful and multiply. Replenish the earth and dominate. And so the reason for creation was to be fruitful, to multiply, to replenish the earth, and to dominate, to rule over. And so we were created to dominate. The Bible indicates otherwise. Although Genesis 1:8, God issues a charge to man to be fruitful and multiply, and God defined marriage as the parameters in which reproduction should take place. Procreation is not the primary purpose of marriage. Even though marriage, as defined by God, is the parameter, that's the circumference within which procreation should take place. But procreation is not the primary purpose of marriage. Now, when God created man, male and female, he commanded them individually to be fruitful. And so as a young lady, as a young man that is not yet married, or as a single man or as a single woman, you are meant and created to obey that command. In fact, that command did not come by virtue of marriage. And so you can be fruitful as a single person. Don't channel fruitfulness to only procreation. No. You can be fruitful spiritually, you can be fruitful. You know, the Bible says any tree that bears no fruit, the Father will cut it off. It said the axe is laid at the root of the tree. So any tree that bears no fruit will be cut off. So as a believer, as a single believer, you are meant and commanded to be fruitful. Don't tie your fruitfulness only based on marriage. Don't tie fruitfulness to marriage. So, you're not doing well, maybe because you're not married. You're not doing well financially because you're not married. You're not doing well psychologically because you're not married. Excuse me. When he created them male and female, he commanded them, be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth, dominate, rule over the birds of the air, the fish in the sea, rule. So you are meant to rule. You are meant to rule. You are meant to dominate your world. You are meant to control. You are meant to dominate. You are meant to multiply. Multiply yourself. Multiply yourself in your business. Multiply yourself as a leader. Multiply yourself in your ministry. And so in Genesis 1:28, God's command had to do with creation and subduing the created order. So every man God created, not the institution, not men, not commanding them to be fruitful after they are married. No, that was not what the scripture said in Genesis 1:28. Before even marriage was brought about or was instituted, this command had gone forth. This command had gone forth. Be fruitful. Be fruitful. Aside being fruitful, with the fruit of the womb, be fruitful in finances. Be fruitful in ministry. Be fruitful spiritually. Be fruitful in every aspect of your life. God expected created men and women to procreate and fill the earth and subdue it. Marriage was essentially a companionship covenant. Marriage was essentially, so one of the very purpose of, the Bible said he saw that the man was alone and he made a helpmeet suitable. So it was for companionship. He first made animals, who first brought animals, allowed Adam, told Adam to name them. And when he named them, God saw that those animals that he brought were not suitable. We are not suitable, we are not companions enough for Adam. And so he still saw that Adam was still alone and needed a companion. So one of the basic focus or primary purpose for marriage is companionship. Is essentially a companionship covenant. Procreation is a function of marriage, but it is not the main focus. So it's a function. Married people procreate, but it's not the very purpose or the primary purpose for marriage. As contemporary society plainly shows, marriage is not necessary for procreation. In our society, in fact, 2 streets or 2 houses away from yours will prove this statement that marriage is not necessary for procreation. Why did we say so? Unmarried men and women have no trouble at all making babies. Honestly speaking, you see a lot of unmarried men, unmarried women having babies. So they don't have any trouble. They don't have any trouble making babies. Contrary to the common idea that marriage is mainly about making babies, marriage actually serves as a deterrent to rampant reproduction. Marriage, contrary to the belief that marriage is primarily for procreation or marriage is mainly about making babies, marriage actually serves as a deterrent for rampant production. Why? Number 1, married couples who take their responsibilities seriously are careful not to conceive and give birth to more children than they could take care of. They are careful. Married couples who take their marriage responsibility seriously, not this drama we are seeing all over that is called marriage. Any married couple that takes their marriage responsibility seriously, they are very, 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 in fact, extra careful not to conceive and give birth to more children than they can adequately love and care for. I think I want to stay here. Some of us were 7. Some of us were 10 from our mother's womb. 10, 11, 12. That's a complete team plus 1. 12. What were they thinking? Check out how you grew up amidst your 11 brothers. You had to struggle you have to make sure you learn how to eat fast so that you can have more than 1 spoon. Some persons are taken care of, some are not. Some are at the mercy of their elder ones. Some are given quality education, some are not. Some have to drop out of school in order for others to go. Because our parents just feel that marriage was for procreation. And so they kept on giving birth. They never took their marriage responsibility. And so sometimes amidst the 11, you have a Judas who is a betrayer, you have an armed robber, you have a drug addict, you have a humanizer, and then the remaining they counted 5, the remaining 6 may be responsible if God shows mercy. Amidst the 11, you can have a prostitute, then you have a carpenter, you have a bricklayer, you have these children These children never wanted or grew up wanting to become what they are or what they were, circumstances made them to be. But because the parents hadn't enough to extend hands to those 11 children, they couldn't kill themselves. They had to do what they could do in order to survive. And so you see some are dropouts from school because there was no money to pay tuition fee. And who will help you take care of 11 children? That was there. In this our contemporary society, you're still giving birth to 6. Congratulations. Be fruitful and multiply. But I hope you have multiplied your bank account, multiplied your businesses to take care of these children. Please take your marriage responsibility seriously. Married couples who take their marriage responsibilities seriously, they are very careful about conceiving and giving birth to children more than they can adequately. The word is adequate. The word is adequately love and care for. No child should share what belongs to another child. No. Adequately. So if two children are sufficient enough, looking at your work and your finances, please stop at 2. Looking at your level, please stop at 2. Don't out of faith give birth to 4. The remaining 2 coming after those 2, honestly speaking, they will suffer. They will suffer. I said they will suffer. Your faith will not pay school fees. You don't go to the school and begin to speak in tongues. When we were chased out of school fees, my father was a very serious prayer warrior. He will pray, but we are at home. Until God showed mercy. Now for the days that we couldn't go to school, you have lost a lot. Imagine us going to school without textbooks. And when they are teaching from the textbook, you have to peep into your neighbors. If they even give assignment from the textbook, you will rather face the punishment because you can't get. So for us to graduate with good grades, it took the mercy of God. And that's why we are not comparing ourselves with children of rich fathers or rich kids that had everything, even system, to go to just secondary school. They had everything, all the textbook. We had to, some mornings we will not eat, we'll still trek. And then you imagine a child trekking to school. You now get to school, from 8 o'clock to 10, the only thing you're thinking is sleep. Because you were tired. And you are expecting first. If the child try and give you 7th position, you need to buy the child a big gift. So you must, those that take their marital responsibilities seriously, they are very careful. 1 Timothy 5:8 say, if anyone does not provide for his relative and especially his immediate family, he has denied the faith. He has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. Why is it that in our present day, we see that the wealthy ones in quotes, the rich in quotes, are the ones that give birth to 3, 2, 4. You that is struggling with 1 room, you have 6 children. What happened to your pennies? You can't keep it. You are your opening leg. And you have to carry yam on the streets. And then you come to church every day, you're shouting amen. You have denied the faith. You are worse than an unbeliever. You are worse than an unbeliever. You cannot provide for your immediate family. At a young lady at the age of 15 is now having to graduate from secondary school and cannot even get admission. She has to go and do sales girl or sales rep in order for her to join or bring money to the house so that she can add to what you have to feed the family. You are a shame as a father. You are very stupid. What happened? That you couldn't just stop at that first girl and stop there. Even if you were earning 20,000, it's going to be enough for you to take care of that 1 child. You went to give birth to 6. And then if she does not bring money to the house, you begin to beat her, and before you know, you begin to arrange marriage for her so that you collect dowry. To feed what? To feed who? Your mates are the ones training their children to private university. They are graduating and then looking for jobs for them. You cannot just wait for that child to graduate from secondary school. You say you are now an adult, I should not be feeding you. As much as we are being told, if you are 20 years, if your child is 20 years and you're feeding him is wrong, the person preaching that message to you is even paying school fees for them and looking for job for them that are 23. Prove me wrong if you're listening to this video. And then they came and preached to us a different thing. And then we that are 20 and we are still eating from our parents because we have not gone to do Yahoo. We have not gone to look for dubious means to make money. We are gradually waiting and putting opportunities, trying to use our skills to see how we can just make ends meet. We are now feeling guilty. Why are we in our parents' house? All of a sudden, you stupid you now pack your things to leave your parents' house. Leave now. Go and sleep under the bridge. Secondly, the social and moral requirement of being married before having children is still strong in many places. Many places. And that's why marriage, serves as a deterrent factor or deterrence from, excessive reproduction or procreation. Nothing sinful about careful, advanced family planning. There's nothing sinful about it. There's nothing sinful about it. Hey, woman, if you've looked at your husband and you've seen his pocket and you know your pocket and you know that the second child you gave birth to is enough. In fact, even the second child to even take care of you while you were pregnant, it took the grace of God. When the child was even born, to get money to buy baby milk was a problem. Go and tie your womb. Go for family planning. So there's nothing sinful about careful, advanced family planning. Take note, abortion is not family planning. So don't leave yourself loosed. And then when you get pregnant, you notice you are pregnant, you begin to run for abortion, and you think you are doing family planning. You are actually interfering with divine protocol, and I'm telling you, you are killing innocent destinies, and the judgment of God is awaiting you. Abortion is not family planning. Abortion is not family planning. I'm repeating, abortion is not family planning. If you are aborting babies as a married woman, if you are aborting babies as a married woman, you are a murderer. You are a killer. You will need God's intervention and help in your life and mercy over your life. The second misconception is that sex is the primary purpose for marriage. And we are saying that sex is not the primary purpose for marriage. Another common misunderstanding is that marriage exists for the purpose of legitimizing sexual relationship. So because you don't want to control, you don't know how to control yourself, you don't want to zip up, or you are struggling every day to zip up, you tell the guy and the babe, oh yeah, let's get married so that we can legitimize sex. I laugh at you. Oh, foolish you. Marriage is not for legitimizing sex. The primary purpose of marriage is not to legitimize sex. I say it, if you can't control yourself sexually outside marriage or when you're married, even when you get into marriage, you will not control yourself. Marriage is not an escape route for adultery. Take notes. So if your body cannot be controlled before marriage, and you're saying, the moment I get married, I know I'll be sleeping with my husband alone, so I will have a controlled sexual urge, is a lie. You are a liar. You're lying to yourself. Sexual union is never and has never been the same thing as marital union. They are two different things. Marriage is a union that implies and involves sexual union as the establishment of a blood covenant, a central obligation, and a pleasure. But the two are not the same. Marriage is a union that implies. So, when we say implies, it means marriage is a union that implies. So when people see couples, when people see two people on the altar exchanging the vows for marriage, it implies that in this union, these two people will be having sexual intercourse back to back at any time they want to, without anybody coming to question them. So it's a union that implies and involves. So sexual union is involved in marital union as the establishment of a blood covenant, a central obligation. So it's an obligation. As a married woman, as a married man, you're obligated to enjoy each other via sex. It's an obligation. It's an obligation. You're obligated to satisfy your husband sexually as well as your husband satisfying you sexually. It's also a blood covenant. And I'm dwelling on this because if you are unmarried and you are sleeping with the opposite sex, you are entering into a blood covenant. Now imagine you slept with 3 people. You have been covenanted to 3 men by blood. And so any negative thing about their life have transferred into your life because it's a mixture of blood. We will talk about sex as we advance in our subsequent videos. And so you will understand what sex is, and you will have to intentionally, by the help of the Holy Ghost, put your body under subjection, believing God to help you. And so it involves a central obligation and a pleasure, but the two are not the same. Marriage involves commitment. Sex has little to do with commitment. Marriage involves commitment. Sex has very little to do with commitment. It's 100% physical response to physiological and biochemical stimuli. So if sex is a physical response to biochemical reactions. For some of you that have had sex before, you know that before the something happened, all your senses, your eye, you're no more seeing straight. Your lips, everything is shouting, "Hey, I'm ready." At that point, rababasheke does not work. That's why you must be careful to draw the line. Sex is one expression of commitment in marriage. However, marriage is broader and deeper than sex, and it transcends sex. It's one expression out of the 100% of marital relationship. Sex is just 1% expression. 1%. And so the question is, if sex is taken out of your marriage, what remains? You have 99 that you have not explored. And so if sex is the total reason or the sole reason for you getting into that relationship, what happens to the 99? Because sex is just 1%. 1% of marriage. Marriage is just 1%. 1% sex is just 1% of marriage. There are other 99 activities. 99 everyday activity. 99% everyday activity that you involve in as couples that keeps you together and bonds you. Marriage is bigger, is broader, is deeper, and it transcends sex. Marriage perhaps is 1% sex, the rest is the ordinary everyday life. Like I asked this great question, if sex is taken out of this relationship, not even marriage, this your relationship, if sex is taken out, what remains? Every day you visit the man, you just lie down in yakata, he will just sleep with you like that. When he finish sleeping with you, he will hold you tight, and that's all. You wear your trouser and you start going home. The next day you come, he sleep. Are you stupid? Are you an animal? Any day you meet the man, your body begins to vibrate, or he sees you. If they remove that sex from that relationship, please, what remains? Marriage is bigger than, distinct but inclusive of sexual relationship. Marriage is bigger than sex, distinct from sex, but inclusive of sexual relationship. So I'm not ruling out sex from marriage. I'm only telling you that marriage is way bigger than sex, way distinct from sex. However, it involves, is sex involving. So you must have that time to share sexual pleasure with your husband or your wife. Absence of sexual activity will never unmake a marriage. I'm saying this with all sense of seriousness. Absence of sexual activity will never unmake a marriage, nor will its presence alone turn a relationship into a marriage. Absence of sexual, in fact, the beauty about marriage is that, the beauty about marriage that was not founded on sex alone is that the moment you get married, you are just involved in the life of your spouse, the life of your wife, or the life of your husband in every ramification. In the sense that even if certain circumstances come that mars that sexual relationship or affects it a little, it does not affect the love you have for each other. In fact, your love is not based on sex. Marriage and sex are related, but not the same. So how then should we define marriage? What is marriage? In our next video, we're going to be looking at the definition of marriage and what marriage is or should be. Like, share, comment, and expect us in the next video. Do have a lovely celebration. Do have a lovely Christmas celebration. Remember, celebrate in sanity and don't go outside the boundaries of celebrating Christ. It's not your birthday. It's not the birthday of your boyfriend. So you're not permitted to lose your virginity in the name of celebrating the birthday of Jesus Christ that died to save your soul. Have a lovely day. Bye.